PPD.
Hey, I think we got it.
That's good. I'm
I think
glad.
I think we got it. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely shows that we're online. We're streaming live on YouTube. So, Ricky here. Hello folks, Clyde Lindsay and Ricky Cloutier and we got Zach um
And
and
Santa.
and Santa. Where's Santa?
Yeah, Santa, he's right there.
Oh, there's Santa. I see him. Um, Welcome everybody. This is a special edition of Open Mic Night. Actually, this is a very different edition of Open Mic Night, and tonight we have on YouTube, and now I just got the message we're going live on. I believe we're on Facebook now. Got it. So we're live streaming on Facebook. We're live streaming on YouTube, and hello to everybody out there who is just now joining us. So if you're watching in any of the live views, you're welcome to join us here in the PPD Zoom room. Click on pixelprodisplays.com. Click on the link that takes you to the Zoom webinars under the help menu and jump in the Zoom room. I'm sure we'll have a question and answer period with Ricky. But tonight, we first of all want to welcome Ricky and his family. Alicia's in the other room. Zach's here, and the rest of the family's there. We see the the trophy in the background there, the official trophy. So it's not fake. It's not fake.
No.
It's a real one.
Mm-hmm.
So Ricky, this is a pretty interesting story because you kept it from everybody for a really long time.
Yeah,
So,
and it's been really hard to keep it from everyone. I pretty much stayed out of all the Zoom rooms, and I've just stayed low all year because I know all my friends in the Christmas community, and they just heart me to death.
well,
Did you win? Did you win? Did you win? Did you win? So I stayed in, so they couldn't ask me.
uh,
Well, we were busy with controllers and everything else.
well, we certainly have had some. All of us have been really busy the past few years. We've had a lot's been thrown at us and on our plate. By the way, if you're in YouTube, make sure drop me a line and make sure you can hear me, hear everything through the stream. Make sure you can hear Ricky and everybody in the background as well. If you can't, give me a shout out, okay? Um, so no, I'm interested. What was it, or whose idea was it, for you to jump in and do the Great Light Fight? Where did it come from?
Originally,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, honestly, I just always loved the show from season one, and I always thought it'd be like really cool to be able to just be on the show, but I never ever anticipated being big enough to get on the show, our display.
Mhm.
If you go back and look, when like we bought this house in 2010, and look at the single strand of incandescent lights around the eaves, and the like four blow molds in the front steps. I mean, that's where we were in 2010. So, and then as we grew and the light display grew, that's when we started getting contact from the light fight saying, you need to get on, you need to get on. And that's when we started. And we've actually been in the process to get on for 5 years. It took almost 5 years to get on the show.
So you're saying that probably circa 2017 they were knocking on your door and asking,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, you want to do this? You want to do this?"
Yes, yeah. We didn't actually fill out a form saying we wanted to be on the show. They filled the form out for us, told us we were going to be on the show eventually. So it was just a matter of getting our show. And then COVID got us last year. We were actually supposed to be on season 9, but we got bumped because of COVID.
Hey, your microphone's kind of going a little goofy.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, that's better right there.
Okay, yeah. What I was saying is we were supposed to actually be on last year. Would have been season 9.
Mhm.
But COVID got us because of they couldn't travel. And then the year before we were trying to get on, we were close. When he made it, we were in alternate, right? Yeah, we were in alternate the year before that. So this has been a process for us to get on. So it was super awesome
So
when we finally made it.
Was it like that? There was kind of, I don't want to say a waiting list, but of sorts. It was there were a lot of other people that were being considered as well, I imagine.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yep.
So basically, it sounds like they wanted you to be on. You were going to be on no matter what. Um, you just had to amp it up and make sure. Well, of all the people to have controllers, you would have controllers. But
Yes.
but but you had to amp it up enough that you could blast it out of the park. And
Yeah, dark spaces.
you
Dark space is a big one for them. They don't like a lot of dark space. So even if you're just putting Walmart lights on your ground to fill the void,
hmm
that it's all about dark spaces. They just don't like
they don't like dark spaces. That's
that. Nope.
not a surprise. Not a surprise. Well, we're all a little bit crazy about making sure the lights are always on and doing something. So that's kind of
Hmm.
what you do whenever you're programming. So how what whenever you got the phone call, from the time you got the phone call saying you were on the show, you're going to be aired on this season 2022. What did you have to do? What was the first thing that you had to do whenever you realized you were actually going to be on the show?
Well, okay. So we got the call. Was it mid-August that they were coming the 1st of November? We had basically 5.5 weeks from when we got the call to when we were going to record. It was almost 6 weeks. Now, also last year, I don't know if a lot of you guys know or not, but last year was a crazy year for drive-through displays. So at the same amount of time, we're building. I think we ended up doing 12 drive-throughs last year total between PPD and a couple of the other vendors. I think it was 12 total. That ain't counting residential controllers for guys. That ain't counting little one-offs that we're adding on to our shows. This was like full-blown, like pallets of controllers, and they all had to go out at the same time.
Wow.
So we had a show that had to be amped up, and we had all this to go. So it was a lot of quick planning, quick ordering, and then just getting some extra help to get stuff together and start putting stuff up because we had to punch a pile of pixels. I mean, we had to cut a pile of Coro. It got real crazy for the last couple of weeks trying to get this thing together. I was praying. I'm like, when they call me, I'm hoping we're like the end of November, beginning of December, like a lot of people got. But no, I think we were like the third recording or something like that. I mean, Tom Stallings was right out of the gate. He was a week before me, so he was the first one. And he was the very first one this year. So it just, I mean, I felt really bad for him because he had a little bit short of a window, but he weren't building 12 drive-throughs. He had 6 times.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes it easy whenever. Well, not that to his credit, Tom has a bunch of businesses that he runs as well. So,
Yes, he
so,
does.
so
Yeah, no, I'm not
he's.
saying Tom.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
he wasn't
Tom
building
did the
controllers,
same
but I'm
thing,
sure.
but Tom did me.
We I'll tell you what. That's one thing I have to say is the more you hang around with everybody in this community, you start to learn
Mm-hmm.
there's more to them than just one thing. They're not just one thing
Oh yeah.
focused, and which brings me to the next thing, which I'm going to talk about is Rusted Up Garage. So Zach has piloted. I know Zach's the one who pushes you to do the videos for Rusted Up Garage. Are you not,
Yeah,
Zach?
yeah, he does.
Yeah. Good, because I enjoy them. You see that I
Zach doesn't want to be on camera.
that's but but yeah. In any event, Zach is Zach. So tell me, what did you were were I saw in the show they tied in that '57 Chevy. But were you? Because I didn't honestly. So don't ruin the surprise like you won or anything. But I didn't get to see the episode because I don't have network TV. But so if it's on YouTube, then I get to watch it, right? But in any event, YouTube's my medium. And so did you guys get to put the cars or anything into the show?
No,
No.
no, because actually we had my car in storage because they used my shop as their setup room for all the stuff. So they needed my shop. What was cool though was when they came back. We had actually put the lift in the shop, so my car was actually in there, and so we got to hang out in the shop with Carter, looking at the car, and actually the guy who was Santa and had the old car. We met him through there's a car club down here that we're part of. It's like the Dixie, and he's like the I don't know he's like the president or something. Anyways, so it was kind of cool because we met him through that, and we see him like monthly at the car meets, and you know, like neither one of us can tell anybody that he was Santa or that his car was in the show or that we had won.
So you mean every episode doesn't have the same Santa in the same car?
No.
I guess I just overlooked that. I always thought it was the same Santa in the same car.
No, they actually reach out in the areas.
That's awesome.
They have a registry of red cars and people in areas that they pull from.
No, that's really cool.
I never realized that. You just ruined all that magic. Here, I thought Santa was going from display to display.
No, sorry.
Man, they have to be finding the like close to the same vehicle just to do that.
No, actually, like ours was a 55 Ford convertible with black roof, and then you got like it was a 67 Camaro for Tanya's, and then it was a 57 Chevy for Castle's.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
I've never noticed that. You enlightened me. Can I see that?
Is this a group conversation? Anybody say anything?
Oh yeah. By all means.
Yeah, if you know, I'm a car guy, so yeah, they change cars all the time. You've seen some beautiful ones. I mean, Monte Carlos and anything from the 50s, 60s, and 70s they use.
Okay, here's my question for everybody watching. Does everyone get a different car? Who wins?
Do you get to pick your
No,
car?
I think I've seen a 50. I've seen a 57.
Who watched episode 4? Episode 4 with Carter.
I mean, I've seen them all, but I don't track what cars they use. But yeah, it's always a red car, but it could be a red. They use 57 Chevy type of car a lot.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you actually watch the winner of Carter's episode before us, the week before, when he steps out of the car and drives away, you see my shop.
That's kind of crazy.
And then if you watch the week before, and you watch Tanya's, when the guy in Nevada won, if you actually watched the car when it pulled up and you looked at the reflections in the car, you saw David Castle's house in it. So we figured out David Castle won the week before because his house reflection was in the car.
Oh,
so do
man.
they always do that? They do like little hints like that?
No, they only do it in states that they have issues getting car permits for. So California, obviously, Nevada, they have problems. They have to get permits for cars. So they have issues, they'll double record a car at someone's house. They did completely different setups. I mean, like Carter had to change into what he wore there. They changed the location of where the car drove. So it's really cool the magic they do with that stuff. But if you're actually looking and no one caught it, most people don't catch it. But yeah, you can go back and follow the cars.
That was something I didn't expect to get out of tonight, was that they change vehicles and that there's limits, like they have to have permits to drive a certain car for the show. What?
Well, I think it's just permitting for cars in areas, like recording permits and stuff. You know how some states are just more stuff.
Yeah,
so it's really cool the stuff they do with the cars. It's and that's like their favorite thing. They love doing the car stuff. That's like, I mean, they spend like hours recording car stuff. It's so cool.
So what? So Zach, what was the most stressful thing that you had to deal with the entire way through? What could you, what would you say that is?
Basically, I was in charge of all the technical side of the whole thing.
Okay.
You got to come closer to the mic, Zach.
So I was in charge of all the technical side setup and all that. So making sure that everything there functioned, when I had to hit go, because spoiler, the turnaround 2000 didn't actually turn the show on.
No, wait a minute. I thought Mason did everything.
No, you just think Mason does everything. Yeah, Zach was pretty high stressed until the show came on. Zach was, and it didn't help. I mean, days before, I'm literally in there changing stuff and being like, Zach, I need all this stuff moved. I need this over here, and then we're just adding and putting stuff everywhere. And I mean, we were just heaving controllers down. It was like, good thing I built controllers and had a pile of them, because it was so much easier. Just throw a controller down and go, and throw a controller down and go, and
I wondered why half my drive-through controllers look used. I see now.
Well, now that's a whole different reason.
So what was?
Real quick, grab another controller, Zach.
Oh no, we dropped that one. Just give that to PPD. Gotcha. So I'm trying to bring Zach in because he has a different. He's a little bit more quiet and he has a different skill set than Ricky does. So Zach, how long did it take you to get, let's say, the network and everything to communicate? Was it out of the gate? Did you realize that you had everything good, or what was it more challenging than what you expected it to be? Got to move closer. There you go.
Networking wise, it was pretty simple. Because we have a full uniform set up here at the house. So I have a completely separate show VLAN set up, and basically controller, and then I actually built a custom interface. I can see what controllers are online, and basically I can test them from there, and I don't even have to see the controller physically at all. So that part was pretty easy. Dad changing everything every time we walked in the shop, that was a whole nother story.
So did the system work pretty well as far as once you got everything online, once it worked, it worked?
Yeah. As far as all the controllers went and controlling them and all that worked great.
But Ricky would throw things at you and say, "We're moving this," and you're like, "I just fixed this." Yeah.
Well, let's move this to the completely other side of the yard and let's add 10,000 more, pixels here and 3,000 over here, and
What was the hardest thing to set up in the whole display? Period. Hands down. You wish you'd never started it. It was the biggest pain in the neck. What was it?
Me or Zach?
Both of you.
Piece stakes.
Yeah.
The P stakes. Why is that?
Because they have to be perfect.
When you say perfect, are you saying you had to draw straight lines and
I
pull a string?
Yard with string and stakes, and then set them all, and then you have to go through and get them all vertical, and then you're walking across the lawn, because at this point the lawn has grown, and you trip over the wires and you get 12 of them all crooked. Then you got to re-straighten them back out.
Cut the lawn. It's October.
Oh no. Yeah.
P stakes, ultimately, as awesome as they look, let's just say they're not in the yard this year. Anybody need 200 P stakes? They're for sale.
Well, Rob said that they'd look good in my backyard, so we'll see.
Okay, they're for sale. They're in two-toed.
Well, because I have a giant hill on the backyard going up to his place, and he said, "Oh, those might look good." I mean, I think I have 50 of them already. I'm here at this place here in Leechburg. I don't have the room for them. There just isn't the space to do it where they're meaningful. But no, I can imagine. the P stakes for both of you, that was your biggest pain in the butt.
I would probably say yeah.
Yeah.
These stakes are definitely top of the list. The helicopter's some work,
Yeah.
but that's pretty easy once you get it set up. Because
So-
the helicopter's just massive.
One of those kind of
Because that's got to be done completely at night. It's just so big. That one has to be done at night.
So I remember a giant ornament.
That was actually a fun project. Yeah.
So
The
would
big giant Christmas ball.
would that have been one of your favorite projects that you did?
Yeah, that'd probably be one of them. The ball is probably one of my favorite props in general. It just looks cool. It does some cool stuff. That's probably one of my favorites for sure.
So you went through the motions, and there's well, we've got probably, I don't know, 35 people in the Zoom room here tonight, and watching on YouTube and so forth. There's a couple people everywhere. So what would you say to the people who are out there watching? Would you do the light fight again, or what does it really take? What do you have to do in order to be part of it? I mean, is it something you'd love to do again, or no way, not in a million years? Or
Oh no, we would totally do it again. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It was an unbelievable experience. The people who travel and do the recordings and all that stuff, because there was, 25, 30 people here to do all the recordings with with the big booms and all that other stuff. I mean, they are just unbelievably awesome to work with and super friendly. And even though you don't really know what you're doing, they coach you along. And even the hosts, you got to think, you're standing at the end of the driveway and Carter pops in, and it's just like, it's like starstruck almost, because you've watched him the last 9 episodes and you watched him on other stuff. And You're like, holy crap, he's really in my yard. And I really got to talk to him. And I don't really like talking to people. So that was a little intimidating, but he's such a professional that, he just gets you going and you just roll. It was awesome. I would totally do it. So yes, that's a yes for that. And the second question is what would we encourage other people to start doing?
yeah, so if somebody said, I really think I'd want to be on the show, what is it that they have to do mentally prepare themselves for that task at hand?
Just to get on the show is tasking. You got to be patient, and it does help to work with your casting directors. Like we had AJ, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know who AJ is. And then Kristen is another one. Kristen, she shows up at a lot of the events. And if you work with them and they give pointers and tips and stuff, and just listen to what they're saying, and kind of, take what they have and then kind of make it your own, because they talk about adding stuff here or doing stuff there, and how to say certain things in your videos, how to record your videos that you're sending them. The biggest thing is you got to get them high quality video and pictures. Don't be like just standing in one spot and record your show and send them that clip and expect to get on. It's not going to happen. We sent them, I don't even know how many hours of footage.
Hours of footage? Hours
Of footage. Like a full walkthrough of our walkthrough. This is before it was as big as it even is. A full walkthrough of our main display. During the day, during the night, giving them different songs, giving them static, giving them, we did drone footage. If you don't have one, get one, or get a friend that has. They're so cheap now that a lot of people have more. They know someone that has one that can come by, and we did a lot of drone footage. And the trick to that is I know how awesome your show looks when the lights are bouncing and flashing. Build a static scene for it, like we did, and record it like drone shots statically on, because it gives it more light. Because when the shows are bouncing around, there's so many lights that are off and on and off and on that it don't give a good representation of the size of your show. As if I mean, I know they're pixels and we want them doing that, but sometimes on is good. So I would totally do that. So a lot of that footage and then pictures, and then, I mean, send them stuff of like you and your family building stuff and doing that stuff. We did. I mean, we sent them stuff of, you know, the kids helping build stuff and just that type of stuff. This is all footage I got even before we were even, you know, picked to be on the show. So
What was that, Zach? You got to get closer. Oh, you're still too soft, dude.
I don't know why it's so soft.
It's that
Yeah,
background noise reduction is what it is.
Oh,
What it is?
they're keying in on your voice and it's muffling his. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's background noise reduction is what it is.
I'll be quiet.
But you could just be sitting on the couch pushing a prop, you know, film that. And, you know, they want to see everything you're doing, no matter how small or tedious you think it might be, they want to see it.
See, that's probably why I thought Mason did everything, because Mason's very photogenic and likes taking pictures of himself. So there was a lot of those.
Well, Zach was probably recording all the video for it too, so.
Yeah. So just a lot of video, give them a lot of stuff. I said, don't just expect, you know, here's my, you know, one TSO song that looks super awesome, you know, put me on the show. It ain't gonna get you there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just being honest. That ain't what they're looking for. They want a lot of stuff to see. So that's why, I mean, like our first year, we sent them like 3 videos, and she's like, okay, now I need all of this. So next year, go record all of this stuff. And we spent the whole year just recording stuff. And then, so that was year 1, year 2. That's when we finally got a call from AJ saying, okay, now we're going to do a sit-down video. And, you know, so it is a process. But getting them a lot of stuff is it.
So when you
I have a question.
go ahead.
How has it affected your neighborhood? There have been several people that I know of, and one local here, that once they did it, their neighborhood was swamped.
Okay, so what we did last year, this was a problem for us. My driveway can fit about 10 to 12 cars if you park them. Like you have to physically park them. You know, like I have to direct people to park, and I can get 10 to 12 in safely and then move them out. And we're on a really busy road, so it ain't like people can stop on the side of the road because there's ditches on both sides. So last year we had to keep cutting our show down, and it got really, really busy after they found out we were on, to the point that I actually felt it was unsafe certain nights. It got so bad here. So what we opted to do this season, and it's a little different, is we removed all of the what we call attraction stuff. Because it don't matter that we were down to one song, we had a full walkthrough, we had a full sleigh, we had picture areas, so you could spend 30 minutes here, no problem. So we took away all that, and as bad as that is, it forced just the regular lights. And then what we did was we just turned everything, instead of facing our driveway, to face the road. And we're running everything statically. And we put out a message and told the town and just out there that, look, due to traffic and due to the feeling unsafe with people, this is the option we've gone this year. And everyone understood it. So now we're getting some, but people come in, they'll get a couple of pictures, and then they leave. And I mean, this December, it has been great so far. It's been, and there's a lot of traffic here. So it's just an option to do something different, because we didn't want to drop the show and go dark like a lot of people do. So it's still impressive. I mean, there's still, you know, I don't know, 80,000 pixels out there, statically. Well, I say static, but I mean, we have like I don't know, what is it called? Fancy on scene, which is the trees green and the lights all kind of flashing. And you know, I mean, it's a really pretty looking scene. It's not just on, but, and like right now it's white, the gold whitish color that we have. It's all kind of, you know, it looks really cool. So they get that, and it seems to help with the traffic. I don't know if that helps answer.
So
it.
Casey,
Next year,
Yeah, sort of, because they've been after me for how about 5 years at least. Just and I talked to them one time, and I don't guess I seemed that excited when she interviewed me, but they continue even after that. Didn't seem like a exciting interview. They have continued to email me, and they email a friend of mine, and I know he won't do it because of where he is.
Hmm.
But I have remotely considered it. But I live on the corner. I mean, yes, I have good traffic. I could have good traffic flow. I could run a short little program for each of the 5 or 6 cars that'd be out there, but I just don't want to flood my neighborhood.
Hmm. Yeah, that's why we did what we did, and we just made a video. My wife and I made a video. We put it on our Facebook page. We shared it everywhere that people see it, and all the groups that are around our area, because there's like 3 Christmas groups for like looking at Christmas lights, stuff like that. And we just shared it all out that, look, this is what we're doing. Don't come here and expect what we did last year because of these reasons. And everyone's been super respectful of that. And it seems to be working. And next year we'll, open it back up, or maybe, find a little bit bigger spot and get it all back together. Right now it's just in storage. It ain't gonna hurt it sitting there. So
Do you do it as a one-man band, or do you have several people helping you? The whole family help? I'm a one-man band. The wife helps a little bit, but I put it all out myself and do everything, check it, run the sequences, everything during the season. And I sometimes don't even have time to video my own stuff.
hmm okay, for the most part, it's Zach and I. My parents usually come October, November area, and they'll help me set some stuff up. The main bulk stuff, help us get it out, plugged in, and tested. Maybe push some pixels, we add some stuff or whatever. My other kids help a little bit, not to the extent like Zach does, where he just does the whole thing. So I have a little bit of help. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a one-man band.
Well,
Do the whole
my
thing.
family moved out of town. My family moved to Savannah and to Orlando, so family is way off. Don't have parents are long gone, and any other relatives we have are out of state as well. I have a
Right.
couple. I know a couple of people that would probably help me, but I hate to impose on them to come do just that.
Hmm.
So that's I totally see where that comes in because well, I'm in the kind of the same boat because it's just me. Yeah, I have my neighbor Dennis does come over and give me a hand. He knows how to plug stuff in. Like I can tell him what to do, he gets it. Sometimes he makes mistakes, but usually you've got a test going. I'm sure Zach knows the bars test. You put the bars on and you plug in, and that's not the right one. Try again, and then you figure it out. But would you say that did you have anybody else besides the family come in to help you? Besides your
Nope.
Nope, it was just you guys. So nobody really knew until you put out the invite for the opening night scene or the turn on scene.
As far as new what?
Knew that you guys had made the show.
No, and actually it worked out really good because we always set up early anyways. We're setting up in October. So when we recorded the first week of November, they came, it was during the middle of the week. And so even with everyone there, us starting lights at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, no one caught on in our area because it was so early. They're like, oh, they're just putting stuff up and they're just testing stuff, that no one really caught on that we were on the show until we sent out the thing saying, you remember back in November?
No, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. What would you say was the most exciting thing about being on the show?
Winning.
That's
Isn't it right?
that's definitely a good answer. That's definitely a good answer.
Man, the
The
dollars.
dollars, yeah.
There's no dollars
Well,
yet. You gotta wait on the dollars. The dollars, I don't know when they'll be sometime.
they'll
You don't get the dollars till after everything airs. So.
and you follow through with your contract, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was that something? What was that side of it? The legality side. What was that like?
There is a ton. It's basically set up as a game show, so it's all basically game show rules, and you have to sign. It's a ton of paperwork for that, and certain NDAs, and there's a bunch of just the normal what you would expect for like to win money at, like if you were on a game show. That's what it is considered as.
So in other words, knowing that you're going to either be on, win, or whatever, so you have to sign an NDA of some sort, and that you're not going to disclaim anything that occurred in it. So, and that would obviously disqualify you from the winnings. But
Correct.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. So what I really meant to say, whatever, asked the last question, because obviously you won, but during the whole experience of being from start to before they gave you the trophy, from that point in there, what was the best part of the whole thing besides the winning? That's what I want to say.
Honestly, the crew, meeting Carter, I mean, the whole experience, honestly, was, probably my favorite. Getting to meet Carter was awesome because that's just, either one, if we'd have got Tony, it'd have been the same way. But just, that person who's been on the show, especially when you've been watching it like us since season 1, are just, Christmas junkies. And this is like a dream come true. I know some people think, it may not be, but, because again, some people just don't want to be on TV. But, for us, it was kind of this something that we've always wanted. I've always said, I just want to be on that show. That's been like a goal of mine. So,
well,
I would say that was probably my favorite. Just meeting everyone, the crew, the people on the backside that you get to deal with.
Well, it sounds like that you had probably a very quiet and really separated experience versus some of the other stories I've heard where I know that I would need help. I would need a lot of help. Like I already need a lot of help as it is, but I can't imagine so many people. Like I really haven't heard a story where it's been so low key. Like your story is very low key. Like I don't even. I almost forgot that you had mentioned to somebody that you might be on, and I don't. That's been like forever. But again, I knew that you had been trying to get on, but I don't remember whether you had gotten on. And then, of course, 1 year leads to another, and we're now in 2022, and it's a year later. So you tend, and I guess it does kind of take a back seat a little bit after the year's over. So then you have to bite your tongue for now.
Yes.
Now, when did you find out that you won for the episode?
I found when they came back to shoot. That's when we found out. So they keep it a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
That's a true surprise until they come. So that reaction of people coming out of their door the first time, that's the reaction. That's honest to goodness, not reshot. That's a one and done. So when you saw
when they show up at your house, and I don't know if you're allowed to release this, so if you're not, you can just tell me shut up. But so when they show up at your house, they don't call you ahead of time and say, "Hey, go get dressed" or anything like that.
They do. When you get scheduled to be on the show, you also get scheduled for a pickup date. Okay, so the pickup date can be anything from supposedly doing commercials to they miss something. It's usually a couple weeks after, 2 or 3 weeks after. Like if they've done some footage and they need to reshoot something or what have you. They have permission to do that. You have to sign that if you have a pickup date. So they had played it to us that it was just a quick pickup that they just said, you guys just wear, just any old Christmas shirt, just something in case we need you for something, but you don't need to be all fancied up. Just something that has to obviously comply with the rules of what you can wear because there is rules for that too. So, and we knew the rules because we'd already been on. So
I was wondering why you weren't wearing a PPD shirt, but now it makes sense.
That's why. Plus, you never sent me one of them fancy ones either. But
we'll get you some.
Yeah, okay. So they truly, and then so they're there and they're setting stuff up, but then you start really wondering, and then it kind of hits you. You're like, there's a good chance that we did actually win this thing, but they don't lead you on at all that way. They do such an incredible job making you believe that they're just there for some stuff. That team who does that piece, because it's one team that goes around and does that part after. The different team of people. They are just phenomenal. And they pretty much make you believe that they're there to shoot some pickup stuff. And, they're getting stuff set up. And then they just ask you to go in the house. They're like, we're going to call you, in a little bit. They have your phone numbers, obviously. And they're like, we have to do this, 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 and this. And then they're doing whatever they do outside and setting things up in a hurry. And then, you get a call and be like, hey, can you run out here for this? And you come out the door and there's your host. And then you're just like, so it is truly.
It's a real surprise.
It's a true surprise.
Yeah.
I always wondered that because, everybody always comes out dressed up in like they're not like, if you would come to my house at any given time, I'd be in like basketball shorts and a hoodie.
Right. Well, yeah, they ask you to, just be in, something Christmas-y, jeans is fine, just whatever. I just had a jeans t-shirt and my little overall, or whatever my shirt was on. Just that's Christmassy enough. And yeah, that's a big surprise. So again, they do phenomenal for that.
That's awesome.
So there's a question in chat. It said, did you have to turn the brightness down of all your lights at all?
We run our show at 20% anyway.
20%. That's what standard for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Some things is a little bit more, right?
But you got to get way closer, Zach.
So everything that's pushed in props is at 20%. Anything that's like a free hanging pixel, whether that's our icicles that free hang or pixel bulbs or any of that goes to 100, and floods are 100.
Okay.
So that's a good question because a lot of people are everybody's I've got to run. There was a fella this year who was really having a hard time understanding running it at 100%. He might be in the Zoom room tonight, and the 100% versus 50 or 25 or what's the difference, and it's the power you're using. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So what are the stats on the show? So how many pixels did you have total? Do you remember? Or do you know? Or did you even bother?
We're over 100. Over 100,000.
And how many
this year?
For last year? For on the show.
100,000.
And then how many controllers did you run?
Okay. That's ain't a really fair question because I don't pixel pack even remotely.
That's okay.
So I had
16 V3s.
Yeah, so okay. Yeah, so 6 F16 V3s, varying expansions on those. How many 48s? But 5 48s.
And I don't even know how many receivers.
There was at least 60 to 70 receivers.
So you receivered the heck out of everything.
Well, you did a really good job of it because I didn't see one of those controllers the whole way through the display.
We did film a lot of them, though.
Yeah, we did film a lot of them. Yeah, and we had five lore controllers? 4. 5 lore controllers. You know what we found lore controllers are great for? To turn on the static lights. That's what we do. They're plugged in. It's great. You don't have to turn anything on. They just turn them on.
Just like
you hit the button, and it just turns all the static on. It's great.
Well, that's what's great about running a background sequence.
Exactly.
You create a background sequence where things come on, or you make them twinkle, or you have them shimmer for a little bit, and then it runs in the background, and you don't even have to think about it. It just does its thing. No, exactly. That's great. Okay, so FPP or X schedule?
X schedule all the way.
X schedule. Okay, so that's about 70% of the people in the Zoom room right now's heads are spinning because you said X schedule. So
X schedule rocks. I'm sorry.
So
FPP is horrible.
It does. I use it.
Oh, there's the words. Okay. I
Hey,
and
Ricky,
I didn't say.
where are you? What city do you live in? I haven't seen the show yet. I've got it recorded. I just haven't seen it yet. Where?
We're Chelsea, Alabama.
Okay.
We're the first ones out of the gate on the last showing.
So
my neighbors.
so
About 25 miles from where I am. I'm in Silicaga.
So
Okay.
if anybody at this point, Ricky, is there anything else? Zach, is there anything else you wanna share about the experience and tell everybody about, like, anything at all that was something that stuck out, the memorable moment, something that you guys did, what it was that I mean, we know what it meant to you because it's a big deal, right? And you're in a Zoom room full of people who really care about you guys. So any last kind of things, and then I'm going to open up the floor to anybody else that has any questions.
Other than you modifying the house to make things work.
Say that again. Modifying what? Modifying the house?
I don't modify my house.
You only put a 2-inch hole up to the roof.
Okay, well, I have a bad tendency of I'm the guy that screws stuff on the side of my house with big screws. And I'm also the guy that when I have to hang a guide wire and I need a pole, I just drill a 2-inch hole all the way up through my roof and run it down through so I can secure it and run guide wires. So I'm probably not the stellar of how to set up a light show. If you actually came and saw my light show, you'd probably shake your head. He breaks every rule that they tell you not to do. That's us. But I mean, I would just say if you want to be on the show, go for it and just work hard and try to get. I mean, for us, getting on the show was a win. Honestly, I never thought in my life I'd make the show. So making the show for us and my family, we had won before we even won. Okay, so we obviously are super happy that we did win, but we could have lost and been equally sitting here just as happy and excited, because just getting to the show, you got to think there's only 24 families a year that get on out of how many light shows. So there's a lot of light shows out there. So if you want to get on, do it. If you don't, then don't. I mean, it really is, a preference. And if you don't, it just ain't your thing, then just keep doing it for your neighbors. And I mean, that's what gets us going. We do it for our neighbors. And the show obviously was something of my dream that I wanted to get to. So if you want to do it, just work hard.
And how about you, Zach?
One question.
Oh wait, go ahead, Rob.
The show looked amazing, and I could tell you put a lot of hard work into it. But who did your sequencing?
Oh,
that's PPD. That's a PPD sequence right there. PPD. Oh yeah.
So that wasn't even custom. That was just something you bought out of the store.
Yeah, that was pro layout.
Yeah.
Christmas every day.
Now you see the difference between the original and the pro. The original is if you want to get on the Great Christmas Light Play. The pro is once you're on.
So I'm just telling you, Christmas Every Day was a big hit, huge hit. And I read that. Who decided on the song sequence? We did. We actually had to submit a list. You got to submit a list of songs you want to get them approved. And obviously, the one we wanted was this one, and they approved it right out of the gate. They said, that's no problem. We can actually play that one on TV, as you guys saw. If you guys didn't see it, and you do, it's amazing how much of our sequence, or I shouldn't say ours, PPD sequence they played. It's crazy. I mean, they played a bunch of it, which you don't normally get. They usually dub it over with something else. But it was an amazing sequence, and it looked stellar on our show. Carter loved it. So it was number one.
Awesome.
And Zach, how long did it take you to import that sequence into that massive 100,000 plus pixel display? What do you say?
Totally your fault.
What do you say?
About, roughly a week. Half an hour.
A week? You need to go back to the easy import class.
Well, okay, so yes, you're right. You can.
Oh, you mean for the
import
changes
them really
and everything?
fast, and they look really good. but I kept changing stuff, and then we kept wanting to make certain things do certain things because what people don't understand is that song you don't have to map the candy canes to candy canes, or you don't have to map this to that.
Right.
You can get really creative with it.
Yep.
There's some really cool stuff you can do with the sequence. So it took a while because we were really just trying to fine tune it. And the other thing too is we want as many lights on as we could, so with less darkness. So sometimes you'd actually have to use certain things on certain things to get better light or less dark. So it just takes a little while longer.
Here's
minutes.
Here's a PPD tip that not a lot of people know, but Clyde has a matrix on his wall, right? The thing's like 80 feet long.
No, it's 12 foot by 6 foot. That's my matrix.
The one on your wall is only 6 foot long?
12 foot long, 6 foot tall.
Going the whole way across the front of your property.
Mm-hmm. The wall matrix. The wall matrix. Okay.
Your property's a lot longer.
So
that's okay. That's like
I would say along the front of my property I have two 24-foot matrix panels with the separation for my stairway up the middle, and then my neighbor. There's a continuation after my neighbor's separation. There's another 8 feet. So. What is that? 4, 8, 10, 80 feet. 80 feet of matrix.
Boy, way to circle around an entire conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the original answer.
Anyway,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was a prime example of Common Core math. I'm just gonna give you that. But anyways.
It's not Common Core, but
a lot of people don't know this, but Clyde has a giant matrix, 80 feet long, or if you want to go the long way, it's 24 a separation, 24, 8, and then another continuation to make it 80 feet. And he puts words and stuff across that for his guests, different things. There's images, horses that run across it, all kinds of stuff. In a PPD sequence, you see the yard border, and it's a line that just goes back and forth around the property on the PPD layout. And you wouldn't think much of it, but if you use that on a matrix, there are a ton of Easter eggs in that
you will be
set of effects that you would never even know that exists because your mind tells you to put it on a single line. Mm-hmm. And if you actually put it on a matrix, there are a ton of things that Clyde does in there.
Because
I'm telling you, he had horses and sleighs running across the thing and all kinds of stuff. And it makes me laugh because a lot of people, there's only a few people that I watch when they share sequences and I go, they found the Easter egg.
Yep.
That's always been a thing of PPD. Is it's like a little hidden thing that nobody really knows. But Clyde does a ton of work on something that you just see a single line.
Yep. There's a lot
like for us too. Like we have 5 trees, right, that are grouped together. So you got the big 40-footer and then 2 20s and the 2 10s.
And you definitely need more than just the one tree, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what's cool though is so we'll take them and we'll group them as one tree sometimes. So all 5 trees act as one big tree. And then sometimes we'll break it out and use the middle tree, and then we'll use one of your different effects, and we'll run it clockwise for the left side trees and counterclockwise for the right side trees. They mirror each other, and it makes some really cool effects. And we're just putting stuff on it that you wouldn't normally think would go on the trees as secondary trees. And you get creative. I mean, you got the whole file when you buy it. I mean, you don't have to map the tree to the tree.
Yep. Candy canes can go on mini trees, and mini trees can go on candy canes. And I tell you what.
Somebody on here who kind of figured it out the easiest way. And I think it was Charles Bear, if I remember correctly. But he has a layout of snowflakes, matrices, all kinds of stuff. And he imports everything onto each one differently. So when he puts the candy canes on the candy canes, he has candy canes, snowflakes, spinners, mega trees. He has all this stuff in the group so he can see when he imports it, what he likes it on the vest. And then he goes and does it on his own sequence. But that's how he does each one of his groups. Each one of his groups has the same props in it. So when it goes across it, he can see how they interact and stuff.
Yeah.
So I do something very similar. And I'll open stuff up. And there's nothing for me to have 3 or 4 different instances of that.
Get a little bit closer, Zach. We could hear you in the beginning, but you're starting to fade.
So I do something very similar, and it's nothing for me when I'm mapping to have 4, 5 instances of X lights open, looking at
Yep.
even sequences from different vendors. You get the same sequence from 2 different vendors. You might like somebody snowflaked over the others, and just or even a completely different sequence. You might like part of it. So just that goes along with the creative in your mapping and.
Well, I think that's one of the beauties of the program is that it's so versatile, and it when you understand them, I call them mapping experts. You're a mapping expert. You've been a mapping expert for years. There's a lot of people who, it's really tedious to sit and sequence a song. 50 to 65 hours and it takes to do one sequence, and nobody wants to hear that. But that's the truth. To really produce something that is full enough that if you only have 5 things in your show and you map 5 different things, your show is decently full and not all turned off for 30% or 50% of the song. So, it really is it's a skill to map, and we did a class on this a couple weeks ago, but you've definitely proven that taking a sequence that you could just pick up out of the store and apply it to the house really can do a lot of really cool things whenever you really put it to the test. So good job on that, guys.
Yep. So Sherry asks us all the way out of Texas. She says, how do you keep everything perfect? I saw no pixel failures or leaning props.
That would be hours of straightening. Like, that's what everyone did the last day. It went and straightened. And actually, we did have a pixel failure. And we had a failure of a snowflake on the highest part of the roof after the first turn on. So it wasn't perfect, but you couldn't tell in the show. So it worked out. And it kind of worked good because when we had the pixel failure, it failed with it on in our on scene. So it was white snowflakey. So when it failed the beginning of the snowflake on. The only problem was we couldn't shut it off. When we went dark to restart stuff, that snowflake would never shut off. So that was probably our only big problem we had is that one snowflake lost a pixel right at the beginning.
That's crazy because it does happen no matter what you do. I mean, I put up the mega tree the beginning of this week or the beginning of last week. We got the tree up and tested all the strings, threw all the strings up on the top, or cranked it up to the top, and wouldn't you know, on the very left side, the farthest side. So if my neighbor's sitting on the porch, they can see the bad pixel. So, but that was my fortune. Now I have a star at the peak of the roof I really have to fix. It's like one of the most high density props I've ever had. So, yeah, and it's all the way at the top of the house, which is the hardest thing to get to. So it's never fun to fix that stuff. I feel you.
So I have a question for you. And how many different ways have you already spent your prize money?
I haven't spent it at all.
Now, in your head. In your head.
I still haven't spent it.
Okay, all right.
I haven't, honestly. I haven't spent it. Zach's getting a chunk of it. And then we're going to use some of it for the kids' stuff. But I think we're just going to hang on to it and just, it's a rainy day fund. So it's emergency fund. So I haven't actually spent it.
I think the easiest question is, Ricky, Zach, how many times has Mason tried to spend it?
Oh, about God, we're at least 46 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's spent it.
I would say you're at least probably $150,000 in debt if you'd listen to Mason.
Yeah, Mason spends it like daily.
Mm-hmm. I mean, aren't you going to go out and buy that one prop that you just, I just really, but now you can go out and say, yes, I can add this prop and not worry about it.
Well, the only prop I didn't have that I really wanted was the leg lamp from Biscoyo, and my Secret Santa from Think Tank actually got me one. So I'm good.
Very cool.
So that's a good point. Anybody else have any questions? Put them in chat, or go ahead after Joel's done here and
Well,
go ahead and
it's
ask
great that you're
questions.
going to save it. I mean, it's that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, we don't have any real big plans for it. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I did lie. My wife and I are going on a cruise in August. So I guess some of the money is going there. We're going on our honeymoon cruise after being married for, I don't even know, 20
Now, is it a
years.
Disney cruise?
Oh, no, we're going to Alaska.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, fun.
Cold doesn't bother him anyway, right?
We're going to go in August when it's
The
still
quote, the song lyric. Cool. That's all I had.
Any other questions out there in the group on Facebook? I don't see Facebook, as a matter of fact.
So your show needs Christmas every day. So everyone in here needs to go get that. And then, here's a good one for you. Okay. If you have a Pixel show and you get on the show, do not park your lights in rainbow butterfly. Okay. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
Don't do butterfly effect.
No, I mean, you can use butterfly in, like, actually our P stakes are running butterfly in red and green and white, or red and green. Okay. You really couldn't tell, but everyone who has Pixel shows, when the song ain't playing, parks all their pixels in butterfly rainbow. The judges have seen that so many times. You got to give them something else to look at. If you looked when our show was actually parked, like at the beginning, you watch it, the trees are green and they have looks like garlands going on them.
Mm-hmm.
The snowflakes are all white and twinkly, and the pea stakes are doing stuff, and the arches are red and, doing colors, and build a cool scene for your show when it's parked and not playing music with everything on, but not butterfly rainbow.
You heard it here first, folks. Butterfly bad.
Well, no, butterfly's good.
Well,
It looks really awesome. I love butterfly. It's really cool. But I'm just saying that go back and watch all the Pixel shows.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say all of them, but 90% of them, when they're not playing the display, they park on butterfly rainbow.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know why they do that.
It's easy.
Because it takes a lot of time to make to make a park sequence.
It does.
It does,
but
because everything
you,
has its place.
I've
that
always,
was a big
I've always
wower
wondered that.
for Carter.
on-
Honestly,
Good.
Carter was wowed by the park sequence of the fact that we had all the trees looking like Christmas trees with yellow stars, and with that was a huge one for him. He was impressed with the fact of how we had the lights set and static.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, because there's a lot of them you see, and people go on there and they say how many hours it takes to sequence a show and stuff like that. And then when it comes time for that static sequence, it's butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time that they're walking through the display asking questions, it's butterfly effect.
Yeah. Unlike ours, like I said, if you go watch ours, it's not in butterfly. Everything's in a static state.
Yeah, I saw Zach use that clever tree effect on the trees. I saw that.
Yeah.
So in the chat here it says, "Did you
It's
use?"
not just a tree effect. You heard that.
Oh no, it's not. I use the tree effect for a lot of things. It's a great an effect that works great with layering and bars. Love that. So Mark asked a question in chat: do you use resistor or regulated pixels?
Both.
Both. Whatever.
In some instances, when we're repairing them, we put the wrong one with the wrong ones.
So you can't mix them up. Well, you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
So what do you prefer, resistor or regulator, or you don't care?
I don't really care.
5-volt pixels and 12-volt pixels.
Yep. So I assume these are all 12 volt because you wouldn't want to mess with 5 volt,
Nope.
would you? No, you mixed them.
Our two 20-foot trees and our 10-foot trees are 5-volt.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I'd say I have quite a bit of 5 volts still left in my show. So
Mm-hmm.
And I have 12 volts.
yeah, it's going to grow because Rob threw a bunch at me the past year. So
Every time I upgrade to 12 volt, I'm like, here, Clyde, you go from 5 volt.
We actually have 12-volt pixels on one of the stars on the 5-volt tree. It got punched the wrong pixels. And we didn't realize it until it lost a pixel, and we went up to fix it with a 5-volt pixel. And that thing's been running for 3 years, 12-volt pixels on a 5-volt power supply.
Yep, you can definitely go the other way with them. So that's an interesting story. My first year with 12-volt pixels, the World Semi created a lot of bad pixel boards that had bad regulators on them. So the pixel would overheat. Instead of getting 5 volts, it was getting like 8 or 9 volts to the 5-volt pixel. And it's a 12-volt is what you're feeding them with. So the regulator was busted or bad or wrong or whatever. And so as soon as I turned on my strings and they were left on for anywhere after 10, 15 minutes, they'd glow white. And it burned them all. So I bought my first 1,000 or 1,500 pixels for my Megatree all burned. And not burned, caught on fire, not in that, but they overheated. And what I was able to do with some of them, I was able to knock down the voltage from 12 volt down to like 6.2 or something crazy like that. It worked on a lot of the strings, but there were still some that needed replaced. But I had to replace the whole. Ray Wu changed, took care of replacing them. But no, that can happen. That can happen. You can totally run 12-volt or 5-volt pixels, 12-volt pixels off of a 5-volt power supply. So I have another question in chat. Do you use X lights?
Yes.
Yeah. X lights.
Yeah,
With X schedule.
So I think that they heard X schedule, and they're confusing. They're confusing it. So the difference. What X schedule is the schedule player, and X lights is what you use to sequence, obviously, to produce your show, put your controllers in and such. But but you don't use FPP.
No.
Not at all.
That's not allowed at my house.
Anywhere. No FPP at your house.
No, it's not allowed.
So I know that I bought 2 FPP controllers. No, yeah, I bought 2 FPP controllers from you. The two that you sent me that I bought off of you. Yeah, those are still working. All the other ones have been a pain in my butt. So,
you know what? All the X schedule ones are running great. At
my
house.
Yeah.
Ricky had one FPP controller and he used it for an anthill. I have photos of that one. So. There was a nice, whatever you call that, like with the dirt that you watch the ants in. That's what Ricky was using his for. It was very fancy.
Yeah, that's if you leave a controller on a pine tree, or an oak tree, the bugs get in it, and their droppings are like sweet or something, which attracts the ants, and then the ants protect the bugs who keep pooping in it. And next thing you know, when you open the door, it's black inside with bugs and ants.
Oh my! So you can't leave your controllers outside all year.
At least not hooked to an oak tree.
So it was a true FPP ecosystem.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. All right. Anything else you want to share? Anybody else in the room have a question that they have for Ricky or for Zach?
Did you ask Carter about his wife?
No.
She's an actress, and she's quite famous.
No, I didn't. But what we did do was kind of cool. Is at the end, after he came back, we actually took one of the snowflakes off from the Turner Honor 2000, and the whole family signed it and gave it to him as a Christmas present ornament for him. And he was super excited because he'd said that his wife told him that he needed to start collecting pieces of shows that he's gone to, so they could start like a display of the stuff he's been to. So he was excited because we were actually the first one to give him a piece of our show to take back home with him.
Cool.
That's awesome. All right. Well, everybody, any other questions? Any other chat? I don't see anything pop up in. Huge thank you. Huge shout out to you guys. Congratulations again. Best night of your lives to date, right? Mm-hmm. One of them, right?
I'm just so glad we can tell everybody because it's been killing me.
Oh no, maybe we'll do like a sequence cell or something like that on Christmas every day.
That would be pretty awesome.
Since it's one of those sequences, it's born for champions.
Yeah, it's a champion song.
All right, everybody, this is Ricky and Zach from CCL Controllers, guys, thank you for coming over and jumping on and being here for us. And it's been great having you. Congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Only with Robert. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Everybody on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, hope you hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Everything. Do the whole little YouTube thing. These guys have Rusted Up Garage. It is a YouTube channel. They do a fantastic job. I watch every one of their episodes. They're working on the old the 50 58 58 olds 50 55 olds now. Did you get the motor in? The motor's in.
Yeah, actually, I'll give you a hint. We've already drove it.
Okay. Because as far as I got with the last release, it wasn't in. You wanted to get it running. Yeah. So
it ain't out there yet, but yeah, we actually drove it, so it's coming.
All right, so we'll be looking forward to that, and check them out on YouTube. Rusted Up Garage. They have the 55 olds project. They have the 85. Was it their 87?
The 88 wagon.
The 88 wagon
Christmas
project.
Wagon.
Yep. And it's sweet. Zach tore out the dashboard. I was like, oh my God, how did you do that?
So I'll ask a question on that because this always confuses me, and hopefully I'll be enlightened after this. Everybody always says that that's the station wagon from Christmas Vacation.
It's not.
But isn't it the station wagon from when they go on vacation to Las Vegas?
No, though that's the.
Because in Christmas Vacation,
yes and no.
Because in Christmas Vacation, it's a Ford Taurus.
It's yes, in Christmas Vacation, it is the Ford Taurus wagon, and it's actually brown.
Yeah,
not green. Correct.
Okay.
And the other one, now in the original, it was actually an Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser. High top, and that's what he traded in for the Truckster.
For the Truckster, yep. That's it. That's correct.
And that was on.
That was a Ford. That was a Ford Truckster.
On Vegas Vacation, right?
No, Vegas.
No, just National Lampoon's Vacation.
The original Vacation.
The original Vacation.
When they were doing the Wally's World.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Because they always say that, and every time I watch the movie, I stare at it, and I'm like, where does this station wagon come in at? Because I only see the top.
Yeah. So
the original one.
Yeah, because
we go to car shows, we drag a dog leash on the back bumper.
Oh God, poor doggy. But no, yeah. So
it ran and kept up for a little bit. He tried.
So the Vegas Vacation, what they did was, if I remember correctly, they had an SUV that they drove to Vegas, and then when they got there, something happened to it, and on their way home, or they were down and out, and they went to, was it?
No, Rusty kept winning all the cars.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. No, I'm thinking ahead to the new version, like the modern version, where they get to where
Rusty would go into it, win another car.
Yeah, yes.
They had the Hummer and the Mustang,
right,
and the Porsche and everything.
Yeah, so I think Vegas, they started out with the SUV. I think they were trying to upgrade because the SUV took over for the family station one.
Took out his savings or whatever, and he kept wasting all of his retirement. And then he thought they were down and out. And then here Rusty had all these winnings.
Yes, that's right.
No, but so absolutely great having you guys. Very much. Thank you so much for coming down here. Yeah, let's get a zoom in of the number one prize there for. Does it have your name on the bottom?
No, they don't put your name on it.
They don't put your name on it. But that's enough for you. That is
awesome.
That is very wonderful. Congratulations, guys. You should be very, very proud.
5 volt or 12 volt?
No, it's 9 volt.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Great Christmas light fight, just splitting it right down the middle.
They say we don't care. The voltage doesn't matter.
They make their own rules.
All right, everybody out there in YouTube land, we kind of held over a little bit longer, but thank you for joining us. We're going to hang out in the Zoom room and do what we call our open mic night. We're going to continue it. This has been an open mic night exclusive with Ricky and Zach from CCL Controllers. Congratulations on your win. YouTube, we're saying good night to YouTube. Thank you for joining us. We're saying good night to Facebook. Facebook guys, if you want to join us in the room, by all means, come and join us, and we'll catch you in the next video, guys. Take care. And YouTube is gone.